We're running out of time.
It's either the red one or the blue one.
Cut the wire.
Look, if I get this sequence wrong, if I make one mistake, this whole place, this whole, wait, is that Skip Bayless?
Here we go.
The expert who said the Cowboys are going to the Super Bowl.
Cowboys and Patriots, book it.
What's happening here?
Cowboys aren't even gonna make the playoffs. They're overrated.
Kind of like this movie.
Look, this year Dak tears it up till Romo comes back.
Zeke wins Rookie of the Year behind the best line in football. Cowboys feast on the NFC least. They're going to the Super Bowl, and you're about to blow up. Horrible clock management.
Yeah.
Great commercial. Skip, you tweeted yesterday, I told Morris Chestnut in August that Dak and Zeke would be the reasons for the Cowboys' success. Boy, was I right. Well, Morris Chestnut responded yesterday with this tweet to Skip. Let's not forget 2014, Skip. 6-1 start yielded one questionable playoff win. Super Bowls aren't won in October. Shannon, does Morris have a point?
Absolutely. Why do you do this to yourself, Skip?
What did I do? My Cowboys are 5-1.
At the end of the day, it only matters if Commissioner Goodell hands your team, the team owner, that trophy.
No, I said they would lose to New England. So all that matters to me is that they get to the Super Bowl. All that matters is...
When was the last time they've gotten there?
Well, what does that matter? That's not the question.
That's
right
what
now.
you do all the time. Skip, we've seen this before. No one, with the exception of you, and we know how you think, well, let's not go there how you think. We've seen this before. Once the expectations start to ramp up, I believe that Dak will continue to be the starter. Now the expectations are you should continuously play as well as you've been playing the first 6 games of the season. Do you actually think he's going to continuously go and throw for 240 to 260 yards with 1 or 2 touchdowns and not have but 1 turnover in his first 6 games? Do you believe that's what's going to continuously happen?
Yes. Next question.
So you also believe that this defense will continuously play the way they've been playing the first 6 games?
I do. If they stay healthy enough, yes, I do.
But do you also believe that since Jerry Jones is the head coach, the owner, the general manager, he will always add something to some wrong ingredient to a dish that's going along, that's a bestseller, and he will mess it up? Do you also believe that?
I do. I think you have a point on that one, and I do fear and dread that. I will be the first to admit it.
As long as Jerry Jones is the owner, head coach, general manager, president of personnel, as long as he holds all those titles, I don't even worry about the Cowboys getting to the Super Bowl because I know he gonna mess it up.
I believe that Dak Prescott will cancel out Jerry Jones. He's canceled out Des Bryant so far. He won without him. He put him in his place with what he said the first week, like we can win without him.
Think about what you said, Skip.
I just said it.
Jerry Jones canceled out Jimmy Johnson, but you believe a rookie quarterback can...
I do. I believe it. This man is going to change the face of the Dallas Cowboys. He already has. Now, back to my man Morris Chestnut's point. He made a very sophisticated, deep, and powerful point that my Cowboys in 2014 did start 6-1, and they certainly did have one very questionable playoff win over the Detroit Lions at home because Anthony Hitchens clearly interfered with Brandon Pettigrew, and they threw the flag, and then I don't know what happened. They picked up the flag.
I wish they had replay.
I agree. That would have, that's what I said.
No, I just want to have replay against the Cowboys when the Cowboys played.
Just on that one. But it would have slowed the game down too much, so we didn't need it at that point. That did happen with 8 minutes and 25 seconds left in that game, so a whole lot transpired after that. It didn't actually decide the game at that point, but Detroit was leading 20-17. Tony Romo did lead a scoring drive. Terrence Williams converted a 4th and 1 to Jason Witten. And Romo came up big in that game. And they did win it at Jerry World. And then they went up, and this is what my man Morris Chestnut failed to acknowledge. He swept under the carpet. They also had a questionable playoff loss at Green Bay because even Shannon Sharpe is close to admitting that was a catch. That was a catch at Green Bay. It would have changed the fate of the NFC playoffs that year because my Cowboys would have gone up to Seattle where they'd already won in the regular season. They would have won again.
Why is it
They
always
would have been in the Super Bowl, and they would have lost to New England, as I predicted this year.
Why do you always get to assume that when I say, well,
that's not an assumption. It was a fact. It was right before your very eyes. The game was about to be decided by a touchdown catch and a pass by Tony
now, I
Romo.
told you in the Super Bowl, had Russell Wilson not thrown that interception, they handed the ball to Marshawn Lynch, they would have won the game. You tell me, how do you know? How do you know he would have gotten it?
Well,
wait a minute. Wait a minute, Skip. I'm going to give you your time to rebut my argument. You tell me, when I said, why didn't they hand it to Marshawn Lynch on second down, on the 1 yard line? They would have won the game. You're like, how do you know they would have won? But then you turn around and say, had Dez Bryant non-catch been called a catch, they would have gone to Seattle and beat Seattle.
Yeah, because...
How do you know?
Here's how I know. That you conveniently overlooked the fact that 4 out of the 5 times during that regular season that they handed it to beast mode at the 1 yard line, he failed to score. So you can't tell me that it was a done deal that he was going to get it in the end zone.
And what you also fail to realize that season that the Cowboys had also lost 2 or 3 games on the road.
Okay, but that's not the point here. Again, Malcolm Butler made the greatest defensive play you'll ever see that ended a Super Bowl. He made a better play. Russell Wilson threw a pinpoint pass, hit his receiver right there.
No, he didn't.
Yes, he did. It's right in his hands. Malcolm Butler just cuts in front and makes the greatest catch. It happened so fast, it took my breath away. I couldn't even figure out what had just happened.
Go ahead and make your argument.
Yeah,
You're just trying to talk about the Patriots.
Here's the point that my man Morris is missing. The 2016 Cowboys are made of stronger stuff than the 2014 Cowboys were. When Tony Romo did lead the NFL in QBR, 82.
Lapped the field.
Okay, 82. And DeMarco Murray did lead the NFL in rushing. Right now, Dak is second in QBR, and he's actually a point higher than Tony Romo was. Romo was at 82. Dak's at 83 right now, and he's second to Matt Ryan. And Ezekiel Elliott leading the NFL in rushing, averaging 2 more yards per game than DeMarco did. Obviously, for 16 games for DeMarco, he was at 115, and this is 117 for Zeke right now. But the point is, this team is built on solid ground. That team was built on quicksand. That team was capable of shocking disasters, just like we talked about Pittsburgh. We'd say, how did that just happen? What was that about? The reason it happened was there's something rotten to the core of the Pittsburgh Steelers. Not that they got trouble. I'm just saying they're a flawed team at their core. So was the 2014 Dallas team, because do you remember what happened on Thanksgiving? Do you remember what Mr. Butt Fumble did to my Cowboys at Jerry World on the biggest stage in the sport Thanksgiving afternoon? Do you remember that? 33-10, Mark Sanchez over Tony Romo, who was a disaster that day. Remember a Monday night game against Washington? They were prohibitive favorites at home, huh? Colt McCoy, that's right, stepped in and beat the Cowboys. It took overtime. Tony Romo did get hurt, as he always does. They lost 24-17 in overtime, and I was dumbfounded because it looked like they couldn't play that night. They turned around with Brandon Whedon, their backup quarterback, the next week, and got smoked on their home field by the Arizona Cardinals. And I'm thinking, man, I don't love this team, but I like the fact that they rebounded to go 12-4. And then I still thought they should have won at Green Bay, but I didn't trust that team. That team was driven by Tony Romo, who deep down, this is what he's made of. He was an undrafted free agent from Eastern Illinois, not from an SEC school, from Eastern Illinois. Dak Prescott, even though he fell to the 4th round, remember, he was the quarterback at Mississippi State, which was ranked #1 in the nation for 5 straight weeks in that 2014 year. So he knows big stages on the road at LSU, at Alabama, where they played at Alabama that year, and he did not play that great, but they hung in the game. They at least made it a game in the 4th quarter. Dak knows the biggest stage. Dak is poised and comfortable and confident on the biggest stage. Sometimes I'm not sure about Tony Romo. Like, he has second thoughts about, do I really belong here? Am I really that good? So he'll try some things that he shouldn't try.
I sure hope Tony Romo is listening, because one of his staunchest supporters has now turned his back on him.
Well,
ain't no because.
Time out. No, I'm not going to let you get away with that one. Then you don't know my history. I only came around on Tony Romo in 2014. I was not a Romo fan for however many years that was. Was that 7 years that he started before 2014? So get your facts right.
Hold on, time out.
Get your facts right.
Time out. Wait a minute.
Yeah, biggest supporter, staunchest supporter. Really? Are you kidding
time
me?
Out. Whoa, time out. Can I get a 20-second time out here?
I don't think you deserve one.
Now we put time limits, and now we put, oh, I only became a fan at this day, at this time, after this.
Yeah, well, don't tell me staunchest supporter.
Have you supported Tony Romo?
In 2014, yes.
Okay, do you still support Tony Romo?
I'm sold on Dak Prescott. I just told you. I said the other day.
Will you?
What did I say yesterday on the show? I said Tony Romo is officially the backup
Tony
quarterback.
Romo, I hope.
Backup quarterback. Did you read my lips?
I hope.
Backup quarterback. Staunchest supporter. Really?
I want Tony Romo to watch this show and see the man that trumpeted his call, he should have been the MVP, has turned his back on him.